Hey, it's me, NT, and here's 10 of the best Steam Next Fest demos to play this weekend. Number 10 is Vampire Crawlers, the newest game from the creators of Vampire Survivors, and it's a deck-building roguelike where you run around a grid-based map having turn-based battles with familiar monsters. Yep, that's right, you'll be fighting an awful lot of bats and skeletons. Just like Vampire Survivor, it is a lot of fun seeing all your attacks trigger at once, assuming you have enough MP to cast them. There's lots of unlocks and achievements in the game, including returning characters that grant a buff to your attacks, so I'm excited to see how it develops. Number 9 is Armatus. Like a dark fantasy Returnal, Armatus is a third-person roguelike that sees you running around a shattered land banishing demons. There's several different unlockable weapons just in the demo, each one with an alt fire, and you can acquire a secondary power from unlocking, and of course, there's a great melee attack, this time a scythe. In classic roguelike fashion, beating a room grants you a slew of rewards, from passive buffs, to additional abilities, to different currency. The atmosphere in this game is great, sort of like Bloodborne but with guns, and combat is tight and fun. Number 8 is Moomintroll, Winter's Warmth. Now, Moomintroll is one of those series where, if you know, you know, and if you know, you probably live in Europe. But for this game, there's no real knowledge of the lore needed. Just know that you play as a cute little troll who goes out having adventures with their friends while their parents hibernate through the winter. The gameplay is simple, and it's comfy and cozy until one of the NPCs freezes to death. Expect lots of surprises, with a story that's not afraid to deal with the hard parts of life, which certainly keeps things interesting. Number 7 is Dive or Die. When you first look at this diving simulator, you might be tempted to think of Dave the Diver, but from my time with the demo, you should think more along the lines of Frostpunk, but in a Lovecraftian universe with diving. Survivors slowly trickle into the camp, and you can set them to different jobs, including diving, but be sure to keep them well fed and happy or bad things will happen. This game excels at atmosphere, from the striking art to the brooding underwater depths. Number 6 is the Magus Circle, a survivor's like where you have to draw spells to attack. You don't even get a basic attack here, you have to draw every spell with your mouse, from drawing a continuous X for a simple magic missile to a 5-pointed star for a meteor attack. It gets really tense running around dodging monsters while trying to accurately draw symbols, but that's what makes the game so engrossing. There's a good selection of spells unlocked from the very beginning, and the art is quite pretty. Number 5 is The Eternal Life of Goldman. Now this is maybe the prettiest game of all the demos I played, with gorgeous hand-drawn art that's dense with details. The backgrounds are especially fascinating, with so many little things going on in them. This game is an old-school platformer that sees you jumping all over the place and pogoing off of enemies' heads like Scrooge McDuck or Shovel Knight. There's a pleasing variety of gimmicks, too, like balloons to jump off of or boxes to push, and you can switch out sections of your cane for different parts, like if you want to pogo higher to get to a ledge, or lower to avoid spikes, which leads to even more variety. And while Goldman explores a richly realized world, complete with NPCs that reveal the world's story, I'm most interested in the frame tale of a sick child hearing about the adventures of Goldman, who interjects their own changes and narrative beats. Number 4 is Phonopolis, the newest game from Amanita Design. Phonopolis is an adventure game about a worker who finds a pair of headphones which keeps him from hearing the mind control messages ordering him to work. The cardboard art design is interesting to look at, and the world is charming, full of life and littered with interactions that flesh out the world. This game is a joy to play. The developer specializes in inventive but easy to understand puzzles, and the very first puzzle has you shifting the layers of a house and pressing buttons to manipulate parts of it, resulting in some charming interactions between the on-screen characters, and is super satisfying once you figure it out. Number 3 is Gunboat God. This is the twitchiest demo of the lot, where you drive a gunboat around while manically firing enemies that bombard you. Kill enemies fast enough, and you both move and shoot faster, but the tight controls hold up even at the most frenetic pace. The main gimmick is that your boat can leap up out of the water to dodge enemies or obstacles, or instantly turn into a submarine to dive under the water. And the simple black and white color scheme for enemies and attacks makes it easy to see where you need to dodge. Not only is the gameplay extremely fun, I also really enjoy the expressive characters, which are a joy to watch. I'm not sure how much story this game has, but just the interactions between the crocodile god, Yeti, and the main character are a lot of fun. Number 2 is Alabaster Dawn, a top-down action RPG like the original Legends of Zelda's, but with 3D environments. I guess you would call it 2.5D? Whichever, it looks great, and I love both the characters and the world design. The story hooked me during the prologue, when a group of heroes tasked with ridding the world of corruption is suddenly abandoned by the gods. The only surviving member of the team was a failure, forbidden to enter combat, and now you have to help her save the world. I was immediately attracted to this game by the fluid movement in combat, and it feels just as good to play as it does to watch. There's nothing too groundbreaking, but it's so nice to play a new and well-polished adventure game again. What did impress me was the upgrade system, with trees dedicated to body, melee, and projectile, with nodes that felt impactful and worth getting, like additional combos or charge shots. This game was an immediate wishlist for me. And the number 1 demo of this Steam Next Fest was replaced. It barely edged out Alabaster Dawn for the top slot, but this was the demo I most hated to stop playing. A 2.5D side-scroller, you play an AI trapped in a scientist's body, traveling through the dystopian outskirts of a far future city while pursued by the authorities. The narrative didn't seem particularly groundbreaking, but the feel of the story was great. Sort of like a sci-fi techno-noir, as if you were playing a brooding, trench-coated detective that's actually an AI. Of course, it's the environments that add the most to the atmosphere. Not only are there tons of details that help set the scene, but I also really like the art style. A mixture of 3D and pixel that looks like someone took voxel art and shrunk the voxels down to normal pixel size. Despite its self-imposed limitations, this is a very pretty game. The combat is similar to an Assassin's Creed or a Batman Arkham game, where you have one button for attack, one for counter, and another for a rechargeable finisher / projectile. It's not very complicated, but it's satisfying enough that I look forward to the combat encounters. I can't wait to experience the whole game, so this is another one that went on my Steam wishlist. So that was my top 10 demos from the Steam February 23rd to March 2nd, 2026 Next Fest. Thanks a bunch for watching. I'm releasing at least one video a week on interesting new games, so if you haven't subscribed yet, would you demonstrate your mouse skills by scrolling down to the subscription button and turning notifications on? Anyway, that's it for me this evening. Hope you all have a great night, and bye!